fuck that. 8 doobies to the face, fuck that. 12 bottles in the case, nigga, fuck that. 2 pills in the halfway, nigga, fuck that. Got a high tolerance when your age don't exist.
Then we get into one of my faves on the album, ADHD. In this song, Kendrick is speaking about the short attention spans that we kind of have now has gotten way shorter. Back then when he wrote this, it was pretty short, but now it's gotten even shorter. But he kind of speaks about that and also kind of the use of drugs to numb the pain and to chase this dopamine high. This is one of the realest songs on this album. I can relate. So I just love it, and it's just a good vibe. People who don't know, ADHD is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I think not knowing my own diagnosis, but basically there's three different types: hyperactive, inattentive, and impulsive. And basically it's just like what it like not a disorder, but kind of, I guess. But our brains lack dopamine, and so it's harder for us to do like basic simple things like just vulnerability here. I have been off my meds for like 2 weeks now. I like to take breaks because they are stimulants, and so they give you dopamine. They don't make me like high or anything like that. They literally just like allow me to get up and go about my day. um, so it gives me the dopamine to like go to work and actually want to work, or do like small things like get up and take a shower or like respond to people. Like being off my meds, it's been so hard to just like respond to people. Like I just don't want to do it. Like it sounds so weird, but like it's just a severe lack of dopamine that we have in our brains. And so that is kind of what Kendrick is going to explore in this. He says, fuck that. And this is where we get the iconic fuck that. In the chorus, he says, 8 doobies to the face, fuck that. So this is in reference towards gardening. 12 bottles in the case, fuck that. This is in reference towards alcohol. 2 pills and a half weight, fuck that. And then this is drugs, and specifically this could be towards Adderall or Ritalin, which are medication that you're prescribed if you have ADHD. Got a high tolerance when your age don't exist. So here he's saying like when you already have a high tolerance for drugs and like you're not even born yet, that means either your parents were in taking drugs while they were pregnant with you, so that in turn, you get addicted to drugs. So you already have a high tolerance. But also, you already have a high tolerance because our when you have ADHD or you're neurodivergent, your brain is already like on 10. Like I always tell people, like I don't do like hard drugs, and when people like ask or something, I'm like, "Oh no, like I literally don't even need it. My brain is already on 10." Like um so like that's what he's saying. Like you already have this high tolerance because back in the 80s when, you know, drugs were kind of introduced into the communities, there were a lot of babies who were born addicted, and that does alter, your brain chemistry. And there's high risk of you being addicted later on. One, he says, "Man, I swear my in tripping off that ish again. Pick him up, then I set him in cold water." So here he's kind of describing someone ODing or like passing out from using drugs. Um, then I order someone to bring him Vicodin. So a Vicodin is a narcotic or a drug that treats pain. And when he says I set him in cold water, it kind of sounds like acetylene, and that is Tylenol, which is not strong enough. So he had to get the Vicodin because he has such a high tolerance of drugs. Hope that take the pain away from the feeling that he feel today. So he's saying that like he was feeling so much pain that he needed to take all of these pills or all of these drugs to take it to numb the pain. You know when you part of Section 8. Well, he says Section 80. So Section 8 is a government assistal my god, a government assistance program where it helps people who have low income. They help pay for your rent. And a big misconception with Section 8 is that it's easy to get and everybody's on it. Not true. I used to work for a domestic violence shelter, and I would help a lot of my participants, apply for Section 8. And it was very rare that like they would get accepted. It was really hard to get accepted. And even if you do get accepted, like there's only certain places that accept the vouchers. And like just to see like the cycle that it was like they were put in, it's just like, for example, like you have these vouchers can only be accepted in neighborhoods that aren't the best. Or like I was working specifically with victims and survivors of human trafficking. And so these a lot of these like places that were like close to them and their work, or these kids, their children's like school, were in neighborhoods where they came from. And when you're trying to get out of that, you need to be separated from that. And so it would be hard to find like, how are we going to get you in an area where you're away from that so that you can focus on you and your kids, and then also be able to get transportation to your job or get your kids to school. Like it's not that easy. So um just wanted to put that out there with the rant. He says you feel like no one can relate because you are a loner. And he's saying like you feel like you're alone and no one can relate to you, that you're the only one going through this. This kind of reminds me of Day and Night from Kid Cudi. He's like, the lone stoner seems to free his mind at night. It's like the same sentiment. Like you're using this substance to kind of help with this feeling of loneliness and like to wanna endorphins make you stronger. And so endorphins are the brain's natural like built-in painkiller. And when endorphins are released in the brain, it kind of feels like a natural high. And so, obviously, when you are gardening, you are getting, those artificial endorphins. And so, he's saying when you are engaging in that, you're not feeling as empty, you're feeling stronger. I'm in the house party tripping off my generation sipping cough syrup like it's water. So a lot of rappers during this time, and still to this day, were drinking lean, which is cough syrup, and again, it really numbs the pain. Um, Man, not one of our lives is caught up in the daily superstition that the world is about to end. Who give a F? We never do listen, lest it come with an 808, a melody and some hoes. So this is basically what the message that Kendrick has been saying even to this day, and people are kind of talking about now. Like people don't want to listen to what we're when we're talking about real stuff. They only want to listen if there's some type of beat. And he proved his point when Let the Party Die. There's no beat, there's no 808s. And people were like, oh, I don't want to listen to that. Like, there's no beat. I can't, like, move my head. Well, I'm not going to say people. It was mostly Drake fans, but, we already know that. I forgot to mention, too, after he talks about how his generation sipping off the cough syrup, he then says, never no pancakes in the kitchen. So he's kind of saying, like, there's always drugs around, but there's never any food or nourishment around. Back to the end of that. PlayStation and some drink. Technology bought my soul. So these are all, distractions towards just kind of like finding who you are, finding your purpose, connecting with your soul. Looking around and all I see is a big crowd that's product of me, and they probably relatives relevant for a rebel street. He's saying that like looking around this big crowd is a product of me kind of choosing to take time to work on his craft rather than letting the convenience of the drugs and the tech and everything else like take control of him. Although he may have engaged in it, he's constantly trying to perfect his craft as well, and pour into that more than the others. Her president is black, she black too. Purple label on her back, but that tab is light blue. So around this time, Obama was president, and he starts to describe this girl that he will kind of have an interaction with later on in the song. Um, a purple label is a higher end like product or line from Ralph Lauren. And so he's saying, although she's wearing this expensive stuff, that she may be um, wealthier. The tab, which is often associated with LSD, is light blue. So she's, engaging in drugs. And then he says she take it straight to the head, then she look at me, she got ADHD. And this could be referring to, this woman that he's going to go on to talk about. But I wonder if this she could be Kendrick as well. Like, maybe he's talking about himself. I don't know. Maybe. Then we get into the chorus.
Then she look at me, she got ADHD. Hey, doobies to the face, fuck that. 12's in the halfway, nigga, fuck that. Got a high tolerance when your age don't exist like.
And then post chorus, Kendrick says, like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then in the background, he says, don't got a limit, just give me some more with it. Don't got a limit, just give me some more with it. They always told me ADHD did it. So with ADHD, as I mentioned, you're always seeking dopamine. Kendrick is kind of saying maybe due to the tolerance of drugs being so high due to being exposed in the womb, it's why they're always seeking that dopamine, but maybe they've just been told that it was ADHD. Verse 2, he says, and then she started feeling herself like no one else in this apartment. So now we're getting into the interaction between this girl and Kendrick. And she's, starting to feel the drugs that she has taken. Remember before she put the blue tab. um but the blue tab could also be in reference towards an Adderall if again she is taking some sort of medication for ADHD. She might be more focused in the situation. He says, beg your pardon. Oh, I rap, baby. How old are you? She say 22. I say 23. Okay, then we are crack babies. Damn. And that's the woman saying that. Kendrick says, why you say that? She said, where my drink at? So now she's distracted again. And she's kind of alluding to being born during the crack epidemic again, possibly having parents who were engaging in activities, which led to them being probably exposed in the womb. I'm gonna tell you later, just tell your neighbors and the police, relax. So I think he's saying like things are about to get hot and steamy and a little loud. I stood up, shut the blind, closed the screen, Jumbotron. Made to the back where she reside, then she said, read between the lines. Yep. So I feel like here he's kind of describing them kind of going to the back and gonna engage in some fun. I get close enough when the lights turn down. And the fact that she just might open up when the nouveau start to drown. So nouveau is a type of alcohol, it's a French vodka, and it's a more girly drink. And he's kind of saying like she could like open up as in be a little bit more free and loose when they're engaging in actual activities, or also open up and be vulnerable. Her body and I know the both of us really deep in the mood now. It's nothing we can do now. Somebody walked in with a pound. Whoa. So things are not only getting hot and heavy, but starting to get like deep when she starts to open up to him. Of the Bay Area Kush, she looked at me, then looked at it. Then she grabbed it, then she said, "Get it understood. You know why we crack babies? Because we born in the 80s, the ADHD crazy." And then back into the chorus. Kendrick is saying like F that after each one. He could also be kind of saying like maybe he doesn't really want to engage in those things anymore, or maybe he's like tried it and he's like F that. Um, but I don't know, that's just another way you can interpret it. So then we get into the post chorus again. That's the like, whoa, 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 don't got a limit, just give me some more. Outro is Absol. He says, "You can have all my shine, I'll give you the light." So, Shine is a street name for the Coco. And he says, "I'll give you the light," which could be in reference towards a lighter to freebase the Coco, but also the light as in enlighten you. Double cup deuce 4 6, just mix it in the Sprite. This is in reference towards lean again. Ecstasy, shrooms, blow, dro, hose, whatever you like. So these are all vices, all things that you can get addicted to, and all things that the industry provides. You can have all my shine, I'll give you the light. And this was produced by Soundwave. And then for the samples in this song, they are, well, I guess it's just one. The Nighthawk by the Jet Age of Tomorrow from 20.